Hey guys, what's going on? I have a very long overdue review, and I know you guys have seen this knife 1,000 times. I know most of you have probably seen at least 2 or 3 reviews of this knife, but I want to give you guys my views and my opinion of this fantastic blade. This is one of my absolute all-time favorite knives out of all the ones that I've owned. Also, I'm trying a different camera angle. This is more of a direct head-on angle as opposed to a straight down. I think you can view a little bit more of the knife this way. So let me know what you guys think about that. Anyway, this is going to be my review of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 with the digital camouflage G10 pattern and the satin finish blade. Alright, I'm going to start out by giving you guys a look at the handle here. Like I said, you have a very sexy digital ACU camouflage. You have khaki, foliage, OD, green combo there. And this pattern is different than every other pattern. Each one of these patterns is completely different than another. So just very, very nice, you can really see. And the G10 is nicely textured. It is very coarse and just feels really nice. So you get a really nice grip even when your hands are wet, but this pocket clip does not fray or braid your pants pockets. So you get a very nice secure fit on the pocket without the ripping of your material. So that is very nice how they did that. They didn't make it too aggressive. You have 2 screws holding the whole thing together, plus the pivot. Complete flow-through design, which I really like. I like the look of it, and I like the ease of cleaning. So very nice. And right there, you see that you do have one standoff or pillar with 2 screws set into it. So that can get somewhat difficult. You can either tighten one side down all the way and Loctite it, so you only have to unscrew one side, or you have to take one side and hold it down with a Torx bit, and then take another Torx bit of the same size and unscrew the other side. So, no big deal. I haven't had problems with it. You have one there for the stop pin, and then you have a double Torx pivot point. So, very nice. It came from the factory tip down, but as you guys know, I do not prefer that. So I switched it to tip up because thankfully Spyderco gives you that option. So it's very nice. You have tip up, tip down, left or right hand carry. So this knife is really truly ambidextrous because the thumb hole, obviously ambidextrous, and the Spyderco compression lock is easy to use with your left hand. So, which is cool because if I'm ever having issues with my strong arm, or strong hand in this case, then I can use this knife comfortably left-handed and confidently. So you have the standard Spyderco pocket clip, nothing fancy here, but you know, it is a very nice clip. I like it. It's very strong, and just no frills. Like I said, it's nothing real special, but it is a very nice clip. I like it. Of course, it is the same old clip as the Delicas and Enduras, so if something ever happened to this, you could swap it out, maybe change it out for a black clip, which most of them are. So it did not come with any left or right play like you get sometimes where one of the screws isn't tightened down. So it's very nice, and you have a big oversized lanyard tube, which is very nice because you can easily fit probably 2 pieces of 550 core through there that still have the guts in them. So it makes it very easy for you to just slip a lanyard right through, which I like that personally. You don't have to do the dental floss or the inner strand trick to pull it through. So it's just a very nicely designed handle. And I like the G10 on this one. I opted for this one over the black because I thought it just looked really cool how the edges of the G10 are translucent. The edges of the handles, by the way, are beveled for comfort, so you don't have to worry about hot spots really. But this pattern is just a thin layer of basically kind of a laminate or a paper underneath the G10. So it does not go all the way through the G10 scale. So if you were to drill like an Anzo pattern into the scale, this pattern would be completely gone. It would just be that same translucent color underneath. So there you go, just very nice. You have a little bit of jimping up here, by the way, inside a little bit of the liner. You can see. It does offer a little bit of grip, not that much, it's not that functional, but it's just nice that they put it there. But that's not really the quote-unquote main event. So yeah, let's take a look at the blade, guys. Oh yeah, very, very smooth deployment. So you have this very nice satin finish, modified drop point / leaf shaped blade with a ton of belly and a very, very sharp tip. Which a lot of people say, yeah, it's too delicate. Well, really, what are you going to be doing with your knife where the tip's going to break off? You're prying a paint can open? Well, you shouldn't do that with a knife. You know, expect the tip to break off. You know, people shouldn't expect everything from one particular knife. That tip's going to hold up just fine, but if it's a problem, then, you know, it does have a delicate tip. Which I like because I do a lot of fine tip work in a lot of my EDC tasks. I use my knives a lot of times for cutting sections out of a particular magazine. Maybe it's a coupon or whatever, which a nice sharp tip is good for. It almost acts as like a razor blade or an X-Acto knife. X-Acto. But so I like that. But you do have a very nice pronounced belly for nice sweeping cuts. So it's a very sexy full flat ground blade. As you can see there, Spyderco CPM S30V. I'm really liking S30V so far. Some people have been asking me what CPM is. Well, CPM stands for Crucible Powdered Metallurgy. Now, Crucible is a metal company, and they produce several different types of steel, and they just happen to be the manufacturers of this particular S30V. Now, Crucible is the original manufacturer of S30V, so they are arguably the best at it. You will see regular S30V, but if it says CPM on it, it is made by Crucible. You'll also see CPM D2, CPM 154, etc. But Crucible does make excellent steel. Very nicely heat treated. You'll also see CTS, which is Carpenter steel. But anyway, that's what the CPM stands for. On this side, you see Spyderco, or I'm sorry, Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. Very nice, US made Spidey. And then you have Sal Glesser, the owner of Spyderco, and his son Eric Glesser's logo. So, a lot of people have been asking me about that too. What do the signs mean? I really, really like Sal's logo. It's very, very cool looking. You have an S and an A and an L there. So, you have, I believe it's an 18 millimeter Spidey hole, which is one of the biggest that they do. I can almost put my entire pinky through it. But I really like that. It allows you to get most of the meat of your thumb in that hole to deploy it. So it gives you a lot of freedom there. If you miss a little bit of it, doesn't matter. You're going to get most of your thumb in there to deploy that blade. So you have a very, very nice thumb ramp with very sharp jimping. It's not so sharp that it hurts your hand, but it's just sharp enough to where your thumb is never moving off of that thumb ramp. Then down here you have the same jimping in this very nice finger choil / safety choil. So it allows you to get some nice controlled cutting. I don't really find that to be that useful with this knife. I mean, really, your finger can be back here and you still get controlled cuts. The blade is just about exactly 3 1/4 inches long, and the handle is a little over 4 3/4 inches long. So the blade is a lot shorter than the handle, but that is so. In most cases, the blade length is going to be completely legal, because a lot of states have a 3 1/2 inch knife law. But it gives you the handle of a big knife. So if you have thick gloves on, you're going to be able to use this knife very easily and still be abiding by most knife laws. So that's very, very nice. Nice thick blade stock, running all the way down to that sharp tip. Came razor sharp, as do all Spydercos in my experience. Very, very nice ergonomics on the handle, as I stated. It's just excellent. You have a nice finger cutout here, cut out for your pinky, and then a nice swell. One of the most comfortable knives I've ever held. You do have very thin steel liners inside there, nested steel liners that are skeletonized. so that makes this for a very, very light knife. But it does add to rigidity. You see I can, there's a little flex there, but I'm not going to put this knife through any kind of stress or torture tests or anything like that. But this knife weighs about 3.8 ounces, 3.5, 3.8. I'll annotate its exact weight right here. But it is a very, very light knife. You can't even feel this inside of your pocket. So if you like lightweight EDC knives that give you a lot of handle and a lot of blade, this would be your way to go. So, like I said, very nice jimping. The locking system here is Spyderco's compression lock, which is basically just an inverted liner lock. The lock right there. The tang of the blade, as you see right there, it's C-shape. It has a cutout inside of it, and the compression lock, as the blade comes up, stops at the stop pin. The compression lock moves over and wedges itself inside of that C-shape. So you see the cutout there. So that adds for a very, very nice solid lockup. And also, when you're gripping this knife normally, your hand does not come into contact with the lock whatsoever. So that takes away a lot of the issues people were having with liner locks being down here and your index finger disengaging the lock. It won't do that with this knife. Like I said, in most grips, you're never going to be coming in contact with the interface of that lock. So it makes for a very, very superior locking design. By the way, the lockup came very tight. There's absolutely no blade play up and down, slight side to side, but that's because I'd loosened the pivot point so that I get that very nice, smooth, buttery smooth deployment every time. So with this locking system, you're even allowed to do a Benchmade Axis lock style drop. You just depress the lock, which is very smooth, by the way. There's no sticking in the lock whatsoever. And you're just able to flick the knife back into the handle. So very, very smooth, buttery smooth deployment on this knife. It just glides out of the handle. And then you have that nice satisfying click. So you're able to just flick it back into the handle. We're able to do the thumb flick, and then the famous middle finger flick. Grip the knife like this, and just, well, it's hard to do it behind a tripod. Just flick the knife out. That's my preferred method. It looks cool, and it's just neat. So yeah, just a very, very well-made knife. A little bit expensive, I'm not going to lie. I paid $106 for this, shipped off of the Sears website. If you guys saw my unboxing of this knife, a few people went on to Sears and bought some after they saw that. But I don't believe they're still having that same sale. But you can get these off of Blade HQ for about $115, $120 shipped. So that's actually a pretty good deal. And you can get them with the black coated blade and black G10. You can get one with all blacked out hardware and whatnot. So all that stuff. So a bunch of different variations and versions of this knife, but they're all going to be great. This is such an incredible knife. I highly, highly recommend this. Such a good EDC blade. But like I said, I'm sure it's nothing you guys haven't already heard. But like I said, it came super, super sharp. Also, one more little thing. Blade centering, perfect. I know a lot of you guys care about blade centering. And also, the detent has something to do with the compression lock. And of course, since I'm able to access the lock with the blade closed, whereas you couldn't with a liner lock, because it's down there, if you depress the lock, as you see it moves in towards the handle a little bit, I have it so loose the blade will just free fall. So you can grab that, you can depress that lock and flick the knife out. Now normally, you cannot gravity this knife out of the handle, meaning just by gripping it, the knife is not coming out of the handle because the blade is so light. It has no inertia to get out of the handle. So no worries about that. You don't have to worry about getting into gravity knife laws and stuff like that. But excellent knife, guys. I highly, highly recommend it. One of my all-time favorite EDC blades. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment box and I'll be glad to answer. Alright guys, stay safe, stay sharp, and God bless. Sherman614, peace.